The millionaire's life was perfect on the surface: luxury cars, a sprawling mansion, and a fortune that most people could only dream of. But behind the grand doors of his home, his mother was fading. Every day, she grew weaker, her health slipping faster than anyone could handle. Doctors shook their heads, family members fretted, and even the millionaire, with all his wealth and influence, felt helpless watching the woman who raised him struggle. Nothing seemed to work. No treatment, no medicine, no expensive therapy. Then there was Maria, the cleaning lady, quiet, humble, and often overlooked. She had spent years sweeping the corners of the mansion and polishing its marble floors. She seemed ordinary, almost invisible, yet there was a kindness in her eyes that didn't go unnoticed. One chilly evening, when the house felt colder than usual, she did something that no one expected, something so simple, yet so powerful, that it brought a flicker of hope to a family on the edge of despair. What she did next would change everything. But it wasn't magic or money, it was something deeper, something human. And as the millionaire watched in disbelief, he realized that sometimes the most extraordinary miracles come from the most ordinary people. Would you like me to continue this into the next suspenseful part for your story? Maria had been working in the mansion for nearly 5 years, quietly observing the family dynamics that money could never fix. She knew the millionaire's mother better than anyone, having spent countless hours tidying her room, preparing her meals, and listening to the small worries that never reached the doctor's ears. Unlike the professionals who came and went, Maria noticed the subtle changes: the way the woman's hands trembled when she reached for a cup, the sadness in her eyes that no prescription could erase. The millionaire, though used to controlling every aspect of his life, realized he had no control here. He had tried everything: top doctors, specialist consultations, even experimental treatments, but nothing seemed to slow the decline. Family dinners grew quiet, his mother's laughter became rare, and the mansion, usually alive with energy, felt like a shadow of itself. Then, one afternoon, Maria did something unexpected. She lingered in the room longer than usual, whispering to the millionaire's mother in a way that made the man pause in the doorway. He couldn't hear the words, but he saw the change: just a flicker of alertness, a hint of recognition. Something was happening that no money could buy, and he felt a mixture of hope and unease. What Maria was planning remained a secret, and the millionaire had no idea how far her quiet courage would go. The millionaire couldn't shake the feeling that Maria knew something he didn't. Every day, he watched her move quietly through the mansion, tending to his mother with an almost ritualistic precision. She didn't just glean, she seemed to understand the rhythms of the house, the small, fragile patterns of his mother's day. Friends and relatives tried to offer advice, some suggesting that he hire more nurses or bring in specialists, but he sensed they were missing the point. This wasn't about medicine alone, it was about attention, care, and something deeper that Maria had tapped into. Meanwhile, tension grew between the millionaire and other family members. His sister, who had flown in from another city, criticized Maria openly, questioning why someone so lowly seemed to have such influence. The millionaire felt torn. He wanted to defend Maria, yet he also felt the weight of responsibility for his mother's health pressing down on him like never before. At night, as the mansion fell silent, he found himself walking past his mother's room, peering inside to see Maria sitting beside her, whispering softly. He couldn't hear the words, but he could see his mother's fingers twitch, her eyelids flicker, and a faint smile touch her lips. Questions gnawed at him. What was Maria doing that no doctor could, and how far was she willing to go to save a woman the world had almost given up on? The conflict was no longer just about illness, it had become about trust, loyalty, and the fragile line between hope and desperation. Days passed, and the mansion seemed to hold its breath. The millionaire's mother had moments of clarity that no one could explain, small sparks that appeared and vanished like fragile flames. Each time Maria entered the room, those sparks grew just a little brighter, and the millionaire found himself torn between awe and fear. He had spent his life controlling outcomes with wealth and influence, but here, in his own home, control slipped through his fingers. The tension with his sister worsened. She accused him of placing too much trust in a cleaning lady, insisting that Maria was meddling where she shouldn't. Arguments erupted, voices echoing through the grand halls. Yet the millionaire couldn't bring himself to stop Maria. He felt in his gut that she held the key to something beyond medicine, something no amount of money could buy. One evening, the millionaire returned from a meeting to find the mansion eerily quiet. The air felt charged, almost electric. Maria was sitting in the dim light beside his mother, holding her hand as if anchoring her to life itself. His mother's eyes were wide open, staring at something unseen, a mixture of fear and recognition flashing across her face. The millionaire froze, heart pounding. He knew something monumental was about to happen, something that could change everything. Just as the millionaire stepped closer, his mother's hand trembled violently in Maria's grip, and a sudden gasp escaped her lips. The room went still, as if time itself had paused. Maria's eyes darted toward him, filled with an urgency he had never seen before. Then, without warning, she leaned closer to his mother and whispered something so quietly he couldn't catch the words, but the effect was immediate. His mother's eyes widened in recognition, and for the first time in weeks, she spoke a single, clear sentence. Before the millionaire could react, A loud crash echoed from the hallway. His sister had stormed in, furious, accusing Maria of overstepping, of interfering with decisions that should have been theirs. The tension exploded, words flying like daggers. Yet his mother's fragile smile remained fixed on Maria. The millionaire felt a strange mix of fear and hope, realizing that the smallest voice in the mansion might hold the power to change everything. Then came the twist that no one saw coming. A letter, unopened and dusty, slipped from beneath his mother's pillow. Its contents weren't meant for him, or so it seemed. And it hinted at secrets about the family's past that could shatter everything he thought he knew. Suddenly, the stakes were higher than ever. The mother's health, Maria's mysterious abilities, and a long-buried family secret all collided in one impossible moment. The mansion seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next move. While the millionaire struggled to grasp what was real and what was about to turn his world upside down, the millionaire's heart raced as he picked up the letter, hands trembling. He unfolded it carefully, revealing words written in his mother's delicate handwriting, words he had never seen before. The letter wasn't just a confession of past regrets. It contained instructions, a hidden key to restoring her health that no doctor had ever considered. Maria had already known, instinctively following every step his mother had secretly left behind. The cleaning lady wasn't just kind or attentive, she had been quietly deciphering a method, combining patience, understanding, and something deeply personal that only she could sense. The millionaire watched in disbelief as his mother, guided by Maria's care and the secrets in the letter, took her first real steps in weeks. Strength returned to her eyes, color to her cheeks, and for the first time, the mansion felt alive again. Tears streamed down his face as he realized that money had nothing to do with this miracle. It was human kindness, intuition, and devotion that had made the impossible possible. Just when relief washed over him, his mother held up a small folded piece of paper she had hidden in the letter. It revealed a shocking truth. The family's fortune, the mansion, even some of his own achievements had been built on a secret he had never known, one that would change everything he thought he understood about his family. The millionaire's world had been saved, but now he faced a new mystery, one that promised that life in the mansion would never be the same again. The millionaire sat down beside his mother, still holding the folded paper in his hands. He read it slowly, absorbing the truth that had been hidden for years. It wasn't just about money or status. It was about the choices his parents had made, the sacrifices that had shaped the family, and the lessons that only now, through Maria's quiet guidance, he truly understood. His mother reached out, her hand warm and steady, and for the first time in months, he felt a deep sense of peace. He turned to Maria, gratitude filling his chest. She had been more than a cleaning lady, she had been a lifeline, a bridge between despair and hope. His sister, seeing the transformation in their mother, softened, realizing that respect and humility often mattered more than control or pride. In the following days, the mansion slowly returned to life. Laughter echoed through the halls. Meals became family moments again, and the millionaire learned to value patience, care, and the power of human connection over wealth alone. Maria continued her work quietly, unnoticed by many, but now forever cherished by the family. The final lesson lingered. Miracles don't always come from what money can buy. They come from kindness, understanding, and the courage to act when hope seems lost. The family had been saved, not just in body, but in heart and thigh.